Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so you guys all have heard of what we call the flat earthers, people that believe the earth is flat. Well, there might be a level, now keyword, now listen to that word closely because I'm going to explain it. There might be a level of truth to it. Now, I am not a flat earther myself, okay? I believe the earth is a globe. I believe it's round or oblong or however you explain that. I'm going to explain the left and right brain and how it affects this, okay? And that really is where the answer is. One of the challenges is we've been shoved into this world of either or, and that's what's divided people. In fact, I'm going to start there because, okay, everything that you think, you know, or not, maybe not you, but society, people on a larger scale, everyone's divided. And they think it's because of this lie over here, or this thing over there, or this belief over here. Oh, you know, so everyone's been divided against each other. And I'll tell you how they did it. Now, it may also be just a part of human growth and development. And I think that's a big part of it. I think if you don't work at opening up to your right brain and developing the access between left, right, and lower to keep it continual, you just are going to see things from the one-dimensional or two-dimensional brains. So let me start it here. So I remember years ago, I think that I'm going to say this was 10, 12 years ago, I had this client flew out from the Midwest. And out of the blue, about the third or fourth day, he just threw it at me. The earth is flat. And then, like, he didn't even start slow. Hey, you know, what do you think about that? He just started yelling at me. I'm like, whoa, dude, what is your deal? Now, this wasn't the first flat earther I've came across, but it was because of him I noticed a similarity. He was a very, 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 very left brain person, and teaching him these internal awareness techniques to open up to his right brain, he was extremely resistant. It pissed him off. It angered him. It made him extremely angry, fiery, and I don't, there's another word I'm looking for, but it really upset him. He was like, no, I'm not going there. Now, here's the deal with people that are very, very left brain. They view the world in two pictures. It's either A or it's B, and that's it. Now, I didn't see it at the time that opening up to the right brain would somehow cause any kind of conflict, because here's what it does. It gets rid of conflict. But, and I'm using that word on purpose, but from a left brain, extreme left brain's person that doesn't access the right brain at all, they see that as I have to give up all my beliefs, everything that I've believed, and suddenly be open-minded to these other things. Like, well, yeah, that's kind of the point. So this person got so enraged with me, they would attack me, and even after they left, they would call me and scream at me. Now, here's the deal. That's one thing I noticed about flat earthers is, like, they feel like they have to yell at you and force you to believe what they're believing. Now, I'm not. Now, here's the deal. I think what I'm going to say is make them go, oh, in a good way. So over the years, one thing I've noticed about extremely left brain people is they're what we call mismatchers, okay? Mismatchers are people that you could literally have a round house and they're going to tell you it's square. If it's square, they're going to tell you it's round. They just mismatch whatever you talk about. If you say it's such a beautiful day because the sky's clear and blue, and they're like, what are you talking about? It's cloudy. It's not beautiful. And like, you could literally take a video and a picture and it's like, there's not a cloud in the sky. And they'll be like, well, yeah, but there's gonna be, or there was. Now, hold on, flat earther dudes. I think you're gonna like what I'm about to say. I gotta put the pieces together. There's one thing I'm gonna say that I think you're gonna be like, oh, okay. So one of the challenges being stuck in your left brain is everything is either right or wrong. Either I'm right or I'm wrong, and it's like you can't be both. It's like, well, here's what I mean. We can't both be right is a very common term that very left brain people will say. Well, here's the deal. What if I were to explain something to you that you learned in elementary school math that'll prove what I'm saying? That there is a possibility that both can be right at the same time. Now, there's something that we learn at a very, very young age, okay? And it might have been as soon as third grade or second or fourth grade, something like that. This is just basic, very basic math at a young age. You learn about length width, and height. So the first dimension, and you can even talk to a physics professor or someone who's actually has their doctorate degree or master's degree or even bachelor's degree in physics, and they will say, yes, there is something called the first dimension, and that is length from point A to point B. That's it. Draw a straight line, and that's it. Stop. This is your reptilian brain in action. Your lower reptilian brain, which is where your fight or flight system and mating system is in. It's about from point A to point B, and it's going in one direction. There is no other direction. It's just going, I'm going this way down this straight arrow line. This is why lizards and snakes and stuff like that will kill each other over a little bug right in front of them. Well, they're facing it from this direction. You're on the other side facing it from the other direction. And you're like, well, I have to kill you in order to get this food because there is no other food, because I can't look left or right. Because on the one-dimensional brain, there is only what's right in front of you. That's it. There's nothing to the left. There's nothing behind. There's nothing to the right. There's nothing above, nothing below. Which, by the way, that already jumps to the third dimension. So in the first dimension, you see it from your perspective. That's it. You don't even have the ability to turn around 180 degrees and see it from the other perspective. So when you draw the number 9 on the ground, from your perspective, it looks like a 9. But someone who walks up on the other side, which means other perspective, and they're looking at it as they're facing you, looking at you directly, it looks like a 6. So when you tell them it's a 9, they're like, no, that's clearly a 6. Look at it. Now, people who are very left brain, they don't have any flexibility. They don't have the ability to shift and move to other perspectives, to go to the other side, or even go 1% to the right or the left. They just can't do it. It's like, nope, this is it. There's nothing else. And that's the thing. Okay, this is why they will scream at you, is because there is no, in their brain, from their perspective, they're locked in, by the way. It's like a horse that has blinders on both the left and right side, a racehorse, so it can only see what's in front of it so it doesn't get scared or crash. Well, they can't shift at all. They can't even consider any other possibility, because in that brain, in that way of functioning, in the one-dimensional brain, remember, second, third grade math, it's a line. And I'm at this side and I'm going from point A to B in that direction. There is no other direction. Now, from someone who's seeing the world from the right brain, the third dimension, or even a two-dimensional brain, which is the left brain, you would look at someone like, no, like see it from the other side, and they're looking at you like, what other side? What are you talking about? There is just one direction. There's one side. A two-dimensional person can go, it's 6, and go, oh, wait a minute, let me come over to your side. Oh, yeah, it's 9. Now, guess which one of these brains and or perspectives a narcissist is looking at the world from? Yep, the one dimension. And where did I learn that from? I didn't. I learned it from being able to shift from left to right to lower and be access all at the same time, which opens you up to the higher dimension, by the way, outside of the third dimension. See, it's one thing to be lower and then left, and then a real big thing I do with people is shift them from left to right, okay? But most people see things from either left or right, and some people still see things from the caveman era, the one-dimensional brain. You ever heard from narcissist abuse videos where they say, hey, don't even argue with them, it's a waste of time, it's because they're, it's like they never really break down like, well, why? It's because they're stuck in their lower reptilian brain, and think of it like this, think of it as a skill level that they haven't accessed. They don't know how to open up to the logical brain and really function from there. Now, they might process their communication from there, but they're not accessing it fully to where they're inside that brain, okay? So they're very one-dimensional beings. So the left brain is a higher level. Now it's 2 dimensions. You've got length and width. So you draw a straight line, and at the end you draw a line to the left or to the right. Now you've got length and width. On some level, narcissists will access this to some degree. And that's why I explain, like, these people are just either or. It's either A or B. There's no other possibility. So before I move on to the next one, here's one thing I've noticed with my clients. Every now and then I would get this one client that was just frustrated and angry. And when you're on the first level, it's very frustrating because it's like, but this is the way it is. And you're like, no, it's the other. They look at you like you're nuts. They're like, you're saying it's 6, and I'm like, it's freaking not. Like they think like you're playing games. They think you're stupid. They think you're insane. They think there must be something wrong with you. Here's the deal. You can see it from both perspectives. They can't. And now a lot of you from the second, third dimension, like, what are you talking about, Michael? That just doesn't make any sense. I know. Because you can't fathom that. How do they not see it? How can they not even in their brain go, oh yeah, from the other side it looks, they can't. Now, two-dimensional people truly believe you have to choose a side. It's either A or B. It's either me or them. It's either right or wrong. When there's other options, now we're going to the third dimension brain. This is the right brain. Now we're going to get into the controversial flat earth versus round earth in a couple seconds, or not a couple seconds, a couple minutes. So here's the deal. The right brain sees length, so you draw a line, that's the first dimension, then see width, so go left or right. And then you take a line that goes up, just like a building or a tree. That's the third dimension. Length, width, and height. And we learned this in elementary school. Here's the problem with a lot of you. You don't see things from one perspective. You don't see it from either the left side or the right side. You don't see it from one part of your brain. And believe it or not, but people that are in the lower brain or the left brain, or even people who are there's some people that are very right brain that can't do logical stuff. It just, structuring their lives, structuring their money, they can't do it. Now, I've met a young lady who was like, I need someone. She goes, Michael, I'll go to the grocery store and I'll spend it all. I'll give my friend $500. I'll do, and I'm like, why? Like, she goes, Mike, you don't understand. Like, I can't structure stuff. I'm not a very left brain person. So believe it or not, there are people who are right brain only or almost only and left. And we know there's very, very left brain only people. And then there's lower brain, that these people just can't function in society. They don't see. That's the problem with society now. We're at a higher level. So people that are stuck in the lower brain, they don't do very well in society on any level. Everything is an argument. They can't see other perspectives. They feel like they have to yell and scream because you must be crazy. You must be insane. Therefore, they've got to scream at you because this is the way it is and you're just being crazy. It's like, okay. So here's the deal, though. People that are either left or right or lower, they respect people who are on the left or the right or the lower. They don't like people who are all three at the same time or who can shift from one to the other. I noticed people in church didn't like me, although they knew on a level, because the pastor told them, Michael's a very spiritual guy. Spiritual means all of them, which expands you to the spirit world. So they knew this logically or right-brainly, but here's the deal. They would rather deal with an atheist than have a conversation with me. They would take the atheist side or something who is an antichrist. They would literally hang out with them, go out and get ice cream, rather than be with someone like me because you're the weird one because you're not left or right. This guy over here, well, he's low reptilian, and even though that's the antichrist mentality, I'm okay with that. I also noticed people that were very left politically and people that were very right politically would rather talk to each other and would be friends with each other than someone like me who sees both sides of the fence. They don't like that. They would rather make friends and hang out with someone who has completely opposite beliefs and doesn't believe what they think and thinks they're nuts and insane and doesn't like them, hates their guts. They would rather be friends with those people, not only be friends, but they'll respect those people more than someone goes, I actually see this over here and I see this over here. They don't like that. They want you to make a choice. Now, this does not pertain just to politics. This pertains to anything when it comes to left or right brain. Because these people can't fathom, just as much as you have a hard time believing that someone just sees things from A going in one direction B, how can they not see that from the other side it looks like a 9? They can't. People that are left wing, right wing, when they see this is the problem that you guys have had in your life, being an empath, etc., is you can see things from both perspectives. You can see things from, see now the third dimension is going up and looking down, going down underneath, looking up. You're looking at a spherical perspective. And at the same time, you can also see it from the two-dimensional brain. You can shift over there and go, let me take a look at it from here. And then you can shift to the lower brain and see it from one dimension. And you go, yeah, from here, this is what it looks like. So you can see it from their perspective. The problem is they can't see it from your perspective, and therefore they get really like, yeah, I don't like you. Even though you're right about stuff, and on some level, like, yeah, he's right, but I don't really like it. That's just weird to me. Like, they just won't like it. So one thing I learned is that people that are truly lower reptilian brain A to B, they cannot understand my course at all. This is why I tell people like, hey, if you're a narcissist, this will not, it won't work for you. I'm talking about the men's dating relationship coaching course, Cracked Female Code. I'm like, this won't work for you. Like your brain, it's too big of a leap. You're trying to go from one dimension to the entire three-dimensional brain, which just opens up to options and possibilities, like an unlimited amount of options and possibilities. That brain completely shuts down when you do that to it, and it does not like it. It flips out. So the men that can be very successful are people that are, I want to say left brain, but not just extreme all the way to the far left of the very narrow range. They're not very successful with this course. You have to have a broader range, and it crosses over to the right even a little bit. Those are the men that I can shift over to the right brain, and those are the men that get the most out of this course. So back to the flat earthers thing. Here's how it works. When you're truly in your lower reptilian brain, everything looks flat. It's like that's all there is. Even when you're what I call very, very left brain, where you don't actually access the right brain, again, it's a straight line going left or right. Okay, the first and second dimensions. That's a flat surface on a piece of paper. We learned this in elementary school, guys. This is not rocket science. You know, a lot of people are like, man, you're so smart. I'm like, I don't know about that. This is like third grade stuff. So here's the deal. When they look at anything, they see everything as flat. Everything. So they're kind of listening to everyone in the classroom going, what are you talking about? It's not a sphere. It's a freaking flat circle like you draw on a piece of paper. Now the challenge with, okay, society is supposed to grow. We are supposed to go to the next level. We are supposed to develop and move forward. That's the whole purpose of Jesus, was to get us out of this one-dimensional kill or be killed mentality from point A to point B. If you're looking at me from any perspective, you're coming my way, which means you're my enemy. This is why we fight wars. And the two-dimensional brain is the same thing. It's either or, right or wrong. And so if we have certain beliefs, well, I'm obviously right and you're wrong, and I must make you believe what I believe, because that's the way it is, and therefore I'm willing to use God's name, which is using the Lord's name in vain, to say I'm going to attack your country and kill your people in the name of the Lord. Well, that's literally taking the Lord's name in vain. You think it's saying, oh, God damn it, or you know, that's like Jesus, or you know, something like that. That's not taking the Lord's name in vain. Taking the Lord's name in vain in the original language literally means to say I'm killing these people in the name of the Lord. That's because God's like, hey, don't put that on me. I'm not doing that. So people who are narcissists, who see the world in either or A to B, they truly believe they're completely justified in doing whatever it takes to get what they want out of life, because they're like, well, they do it too. It's like, well, no, actually people in the third dimension or three-dimensional thinking, we're focused on how can we help each other get ahead in life. A narcissist cannot process that. They're looking at you like, what? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, everyone's out for themselves. It's kill or be killed. You know, it's either I win or you win. Like, that's literally how they look at the world. And so when you say stuff like that, like, that's just your way of getting over on me. A to B. So here's the deal. When you're looking at the world from the third dimensional brain, you are seeing length, width, and height. In fact, okay. When I have clients walk in the door, I'm telling you, by the third or fourth day, when they walk out, with the first time we go outside, they're like, whoa, because I live up on this little hill and I'm surrounded by trees. And that's one thing about the area. It's just beautiful where I live. And you see the third dimension. In fact, Benev in a video said it. He goes, it's like a pop-up book, like where before it was just flat pictures. You know, I'd look at that mountainside. And in fact, you know what? Let's see if I can find that video. Hold on. Okay, so here's a video of a Benev. He literally just popped. He popped open about 5 to 10 minutes before. There's maybe 5 minutes, and we're driving down on the highway when he popped open. And listen to what he says after we pull over and we go back here.
Okay, so I guess talk. So what's it feel like now?
It feels like in the car, it felt like I was on just like a drug.
Does it feel like it like now though? Or what do you mean? It's different?
It's a little bit less, but man, in the car it was just like I was on the best drug ever.
Right.
Just wave and relaxed, wave and open, just clear.
Would you say the reason why most people do drugs is because they're trying to get where you're at right now?
Yeah.
Do you understand how people are holding back and how that's keeping them from their happiness?
Yeah, I see that now. Right before we did what we did today, I remember sitting in the car and being kind of uptight, you know, just...
Speak a little bit louder.
I remember feeling the tightness in the car before we went out and did the thing.
Right.
And right after I got in the car, it was just like a world apart, you know. Man, that was pretty good. And right now, you know, we're standing behind a Target.
So, describe the difference. Here, I don't know where to stand. Let me stand here. Describe the difference between, you said before you did it you felt A, and then now you feel what? So describe A first.
It's just, I feel like that's how normal people go through life. You feel tight. You feel...
Stressed.
Stressed, yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah, you feel just, that's normal life. You just accept it after such a long time. And afterwards, it was just like letting go of the brakes, just boom, you know. and I realized that it is just that easy. You can just do it anytime you want.
Right. So we looked at the mountain over here, or massive hill. I don't know how well my cell phone's picking up. I see it in the view thing. So when I said, now that you look at it, what does it look like now? What did you say?
It feels solid. It's like, you know, I've been living here for about 11 years, and we see the hills every day.
Right.
And they're more of just an image. You see them in the background every day, but now when I look at it today, it's like I'm seeing it for the first time. I can feel its solidity. I think I said to you when you asked me that.
You're right.
It feels like it's made of earth and stone for the first time.
Say that a little bit louder. Just speak louder. Just do it.
Yeah, it feels like it's made of real stuff, real stone and earth.
Yeah, I think
for
you
the first
said.
time.
I think you said like real rocks and stones and dirt. Is that what you said?
Yeah. It just looks real. It feels real. So
So did you notice how you went from all your life? You've been here. What'd you say? 11 years.
yeah.
You grew up here, and you never looked at that mountain and really saw how solid and how real it is. So people, what we did with the Benev was we opened him up to his consciousness. We woke him up. There's so many different ways to explain it. So what I said to Benev was, I said it to him a while ago, but now I said, now do you understand what I mean when I walk around and say those people are asleep?
Yeah, I get the picture now.
You feel like you're awake now?
Yeah.
All right.
The colors are way more brighter.
Say that louder. Let him hear it.
The colors are way more brighter. Like, I can smell the fresh air. I can hear the birds. For first time in my life, I think I'm paying attention to my own voice. Yeah.
So let's say something about what he said right there. Now, ladies, you're very aware of this, but men, that's what's called self-awareness. For the first time in his life, he's bringing his awareness back, and he's noticing his own voice. He's paying attention to it. So this was a phrase that I heard most of my life when I was younger, and looking for self-awareness. If you go on dating sites and look what women write down, they're looking for men who know how to communicate, but they mean right brain communication, not logical left brain communication, because most men are like, oh, I speak perfect English. Like, that's not what she's talking about. And they mention, I'm looking for a man who is self-aware. most men are disconnected from themselves, and that's what we did with Benev in the therapy sessions. We got him to connect with himself, so once he does that, he becomes self-aware of how he feels. Now, for men and women who are involved with these men, the benefit is you feel good because you're relaxed. You open up your arteries, you open up your blood vessels, everything flows, you feel good, and life becomes better. So the other thing that I thought was in this video was, I thought this is where he said, I think we must have talked about it afterwards, probably in one of the videos that I did, a testimonial of him. And he mentioned, he goes, it was like, the book when you open up those pop-up books when things literally stand up. I'm like, yeah, that's the third dimension. I go, instead of versus a flat piece of paper. He goes, that's what that mountainside used to look like. It was just flat to me. He goes, I never noticed the depth of it, which means 3D. So he used a pop-up book to explain it, whereas you look at the images, they're flat, but with the pop-up book, the images come up like how trees come straight up from the ground, which is the third dimension. So here's the deal. People, mostly women, because women are right brain naturally, they can't understand that you're not seeing it from their perspective. They just as much as you on the left side, you can't understand that she's not seeing it from your perspective because you're using a different processor that sees it in a very specific way that is completely different than the right brain's processor. So in the Why Men Just Don't Get It course for women, they begin to learn these things. They're like, man, that makes sense. No wonder why me and my husband would argue about the stupidest things. And because we look at each other like, what is wrong with you? In fact, men say that, like, what is wrong with you? Are you stupid? Are you crazy? No, they're not. They're just seeing it from the other side. So ladies, are you now starting to understand why this will help our relationship work and bring happiness and fun and openness and relaxation and comfort and love into the relationship versus arguing and fighting about every little thing? And this is just one core pillar of my Crack the Female Code course for men. There's two more. This is the emotional grounding, seeing it from the other side. The other side is the internal language. Well, there's a little bit more, but you're getting the idea. It's about romance, love, and communication. So men can learn how to open up and bring a non-toxic energy, a loving, warm, emotionally fulfilling energy into the relationship, and they can communicate in the internal, mentally stimulating and emotionally fulfilling language, so you can have a meaningful relationship experience together. So when you open up to the right brain, you start to see the 3D world. It's right there. It's always been there. So now let's go back to the flat dimension versus the round sphere of the earth, flat earthers versus round. You're both right. Now here's the thing that I think the three-dimensional people don't quite grasp and or want to truly understand. Your brain on an unconscious level, kind of like a computer, well, exactly like a computer, because I'm beginning to realize our brains are computers. And by the way, you are not your brain, your eyes, your arms, your legs. That's not who you are. You are much, much greater than that. Your body is kind of like a vehicle, like a car, and it's also like a computer that you use to have this experience. But these two things are not who you are. So if this video has kind of broken your melon and kind of made you go, wait, this is out there. Well, it's going to get a little bit more out there. So let's say we take you out to outer space and you look at the Earth, well, you can't see anything but a flat image. There's no depth there. So from that perspective, it does look like a flat circle. The other thing that your brain does is you think, oh yeah, but I'm looking at different angles and I can see depth from the sides. Well, you still can't do that. It's your brain taking a picture, taking another one, and like kind of building this 3D image. And that's what it's doing. You're not actually seeing a 3D image. You're seeing a series of images and or videos being processed in a way to where it looks 3D. So let's look at this computer right now. I could show you a video of me going across the Golden Gate Bridge. It looks 3D, but you're looking at a flat screen. So now imagine someone who's using the one-dimensional or two-dimensional brain. Remember, the two-dimension is length and width. There's no depth to that. There's no third dimension which is height, which goes up from the flat piece of paper. So a very, very left-brain person, everything looks flat to them. Just like Abhinav said in the video, it's like, I didn't see the earth, the rock. He goes, it was like I think he said it was an image or it looked like a picture, which he meant flat. Because later on, we did talk about that. He goes, yeah, it's like, trees go up like I go, yeah, that's the third dimension. He goes, yeah, it's like a pop-up book where these things pop up out of the book instead of being like flat pictures and flat letters on a piece of paper. So very left-brain people are going to look at you and think you're either lying through your teeth, you're playing games, or there's something wrong with you. Just like you're looking at them thinking, yeah, there's definitely something wrong with them. Now here's the deal. When you get to the fourth and fifth dimension, everything looks different. Everything is experienced different. In fact, there's no time on that level. The fourth dimension is time, but once you get to the fifth dimension up, there is no such thing as time. Like literally. And that's a concept our brain has a very hard time understanding because we have this linear left brain that goes from beginning to end. There's a start, a middle, and an end. Guess what? On the fifth dimension, we don't have that. Guess what else we don't have on that dimension? We don't have time. Hold on, I just forgot. Hold on. We don't have time, space, or distance. Height, length, width, and height. That'll blow your melon. So there's more videos of Abhinav that I'm going to show you guys based on this video. So I guess what I'm trying to say is my course, Crack the Female Code, it is radically different than... See, most people are, you're a dating coach. Oh, okay. No, I am a supercomputer brain coaching course. So if you have any questions about this whole debate... Okay, now here's another one. Let me do it real quick. Each of these levels are layers. So level 1 is a straight line, or technically it's a pin dot. So level 2 is like length and width, which is flat still, so flat. And then you got third dimension, then you got fourth, then you got fifth. These are layers layering upon each other, and now you're seeing it more now from a third dimensional perspective, because I can't explain it from the fifth dimension or sixth dimension. Is when you get these layers layering upon each other, it creates more depth, but not just up and down depth, but left, right, up and down, and expansive depth. I have gotten to that level, for sure. So here's the really cool thing. On the higher levels, there's no distance. There's no over there, over here. Okay? There's no left or right. There's no time. There's no past, present, or future. There just is. So this is why Jesus said when they confronted him, "Who do you think you are?" But and they talked about the law of Moses, and Jesus wrote, "I wrote the law," or no, he goes, "I am the law of Moses." He's the one who actually wrote it. But people are like, but Mike, that was way before his time. That was like 1,000 years or what? I don't remember the exact year, but it was a lot of years before he was born. You don't understand where he came from on the higher dimension. There is no past, present, or future. There's just this. So because of my meditation practice, I've absolutely 100% accessed that space of this. There's just, it's like there's nothingness. There is no front, back, left, right, time. There just is. And from that space, you can create whatever you want. So the answer to the debate, flat Earth versus round Earth or global Earth, whatever you want to call it, or spherical Earth, is yes, you're both right from your perspective. Please click subscribe, click the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.